Late nights on my avenue by myself, I ain't need a gang member. Nigga, I remember, I ain't had no money on my books this time last year around September.
Before Quando Rondo would drop back to the basics, I remember an ABG, which currently has close to 40 million views on YouTube.
Would you ride for me, babe? Even though I'm in this place, and keep a smile on your face.
Before he would collab with artists like Lil Baby, Rich Homie Quan, Boozy Bad, and NBA Youngboy. Before Quando would garner over 1 million followers on Instagram at the time of this recording. Quando Rondo grew up in Savannah, Georgia, where he always knew he had singing abilities that set him apart from his peers. He was surrounded by violence and crime, and although he resisted a life of drug dealing, he did get caught up in the legal system, going in and out of juvenile detention all throughout his young life. It was when he started posting videos on Instagram using his car as a beat pad and showcasing his ability to spit heartfelt lyrics through unique melodies that he started to gain the attention of record execs and one rapper in particular who would help change the course of his career. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're watching this. My name is Jeremy Hecht, aka the dude who is so white you had to turn your brightness down on your screen just to see me. I like to read through the comments on every video and find the funniest ones to use as my new aka nickname, and thought that was a pretty good one. But enough of me. Today I'll be taking you through the life and career of Quando Rondo here and before they were famous. We've covered other up-and-coming artists like Blueface and Roddy Ricch, so be sure to check those out after you finish watching this video, and let me know who's up next in the comment section down below. I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Let's go.
Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom!
Gotta say, cameraman, I gotta take care of my family. Gotta make sure that my family eat. If you ain't in my family treating, you ain't even family.
Quando Rondo was born Taekwon Terrell Bowman on March 23rd, 1999 in Savannah, Georgia, aka The Port. He was adopted at a young age while his mother was on drugs and his father was in prison. Even though the experience was most likely very traumatic, he says he was too young to understand it. He would attend church growing up with his family and was exposed to music there. And even though he would often get into trouble as a kid, he always had music on his mind. QR was constantly coming up with melodies and would secretly sing in his bathroom at the age of 9.
I wasn't a rapper at first, I used to sing. I knew how to sing since I was like 10, 6th grade.
His grandma said, "We knew something was different about him because he would go up and down the hallways trying to sing. And I would say, 'Taekwon, what's going on with that noise?' And he would say, 'This is not no noise, Grandma. I'm gonna be a star.'" He wasn't wrong. Musically, he grew up listening to Chief Keef and says he's one of his biggest influences. That's just what we grew up on. Being young, he was one of the first young dudes to make it. Rap game was filled with 25 and 30-year-olds, but for him to be 17 and make it, that showed all us young dudes that we could do it too. Growing up, he had a couple of jobs besides rapping. He had a job working at Crystal Beer Parlor in Georgia, but about after a week, he said he had to leave because he hated it so much. Then he worked at the restaurant Checkers, but after an hour, he said he had enough. And that's about the amount of time it takes to play an actual game of checkers. So I guess he worked a regular job for about 41 total hours. His friends would try to get him to sell weed, but he would say, "I'm a rapper, not a trapper." Quando claimed he did try selling one bag of weed, but ended up just giving it away. Eventually, he graduated to harder work, breaking into houses and hitting licks. But after going to jail, he quickly found out that wasn't the life for him.
I feel like that's why God blessed me, cause he see I wasn't trying to do some shit. I ain't trying to be nobody, I ain't.
Quando would write verses on his cell phone and come up with his own melodies. People around him would always tell him he could make it, but at the time, he just thought people were talking. And he also had bigger problems to worry about, cause somewhere along the way he got caught up in the system and was going in and out of juvenile detention. He's been on probation since he was 12 years old. And at the age of 13, he lost his good friend Quaffy, who was killed due to local gun violence. Quaffy and Rondo originally met in juvenile detention, but later met up on the outside. He was the first person Quando ever smoked weed with, and he was something like a big brother to him.
Like, that's the first person I ever known that got killed.
He pays homage to his late friend in multiple song lyrics, including on his song Ride For Me, where he says, "Quaffy got knocked off and I swear my whole mind changed." He wasn't even able to attend his friend's funeral because he was serving his 3rd stint in juvenile detention, which only lasted 7 days this time. He says since then he has lost 4 or 5 friends who have been killed and another 4 or 5 friends who have gone to jail for murder. He even says on his song Letter to You, "In the city that I'm from, you either kill or be killed." And it doesn't seem like he's exaggerating. But eventually it was music that would make him into a better man and get him off of a dangerous life path that would have inevitably landed him back in jail or worse. He ended up adapting his stage name from his nickname Taekwondo, adding Rondo at the end because he liked the sound of it. I mean, it does rhyme. Some people have definitely confused Quando Rondo with Rajon Rondo, especially because he is a part of NBA Youngboy's crew called NBA. So Rondo being in the NBA and Quando being in NBA, I can see where the confusion comes from. In fact, one of the most commonly asked questions on his Google search is Quando Rondo in NBA? On famousbirthdays.com, he is the #1 most famous artist from Savannah. But he isn't the only hip-hop artist to make it out of Savannah. Big Boy from Outkast is also from there, as well as the rapper Camouflage, who was later killed before he really had the chance to blow up.
But shit, I learned how to rap and sing better in Juvenile.
In 2017, he started releasing snippets of his song melodies on Facebook, beating on cars and singing over it. But soon after, he realized Facebook wasn't where it was at for music, so he got on Instagram. Inspired by his girlfriend at the time, he created an account, and people would also text his videos to each other through the app Kick. He recorded his first 2 songs off of an Android phone and a fake microphone, but his first day out of county jail, he went straight to the real studio and made a song called First Day Out, which his friend later put on SoundCloud. Similar to T Grizzly, the song of the same name would be a huge boost for Rondo. The same day they made an Instagram account for him, they added the story feature, and 4 or 5 days later, his girl hit him, like, "You have 1,800 followers." He didn't really understand how big that was at the time, so he checked his DMs. "All I saw was such and such mentioned you in their story. Everyone I click on, everyone is rapping this song." Then he got sent a screenshot of his song that had 32,000 plays on SoundCloud. He was getting booked for local club shows with only 1 song, and the whole club would know all the lyrics. After building buzz around that song and going quiet musically for some time, his second song recorded was Gangster Bitch, and then Run Me Up the Check was the third, and he says the females started liking it. Once he posted more of his personality on Instagram, people started liking who he was and not just his music. He kept building his buzz, and on May 2015, he dropped his mixtape Life Before Fame. The mixtape had an appropriate title as it received more than 1 million streams in 2 days on my mixtapes. But I knew after I dropped the mixtape, something was gonna happen. But just as his buzz started growing, he went back to jail. When he got out, he posted a video on Instagram of him singing a song called Keep It 100 over a beat he was making, banging on the car once again.
Keep it 100, girl, I'ma keep it a million. Cause in my heart, I swear to God, this how I'm feeling.
He got his first well-known comment from Amour Jada. Then he had comments from other celebs like Baby Soulja and Rallo. So he posted another snippet, this time asking his fans to tag their favorite rapper on his post. This caught the attention of the Baton Rouge rapper NBA Youngboy, who commented on the post saying, "What's your number? I'm trying to give you the bag." Youngboy's close friend Ben called Rondo and told him Youngboy wanted to fly him out to New Orleans. Unfortunately, there was no flight, but they did get on the road and drive 10 hours to meet him in the studio, where the two went back and forth on a record. But then when Youngboy started playing more beats, Rondo wasn't feeling the match with his style. He told Youngboy, "I can't really rap off that beat, but I also don't want to disappoint you. At the same time, I'm not going to try and kill myself to sit up here and do something." Youngboy respected the honesty and asked Rondo to open up on a show for him the next day. He even gave Rondo some cash to buy a fresh outfit for the gig. The club show had some issues though, because at the time Youngboy was under 18, so he had to sneak in and perform. Youngboy ended up getting arrested for that by police and went to jail that night. Shortly after, Rondo went back to jail again, but this time when he got out, none of the NBA members were answering his DMs. He dropped his song I Remember, which he wrote in jail, and finally Youngboy's manager Montana called him and told him NBA Youngboy was gonna sign him.
I remember hitting licks in them project houses, yeah. Koozie hit a lick for a few thousand. They be like, "Dug the young who stay wildin'. I don't even much write, I be freestyling."
He got a FaceTime from Youngboy, but Rondo told him that at this point he had offers from Birdman and The Game, who he was on FaceTime with a couple of days earlier. Youngboy told him to go with whatever his gut was telling him. Eventually, an A&R from Atlantic Records named Eli hit him up through Gmail. Rondo sent him over 10 songs and Eli loved all of them. He said he almost teared up when they said they were gonna sign him for real. A representative from the label named Jeff came all the way up to Savannah to wine and dine Rondo, where he asked Rondo and one of his friends what they wanted to eat. And although he replied McDonald's, Jeff took them to Ruth Chris, where Rondo still wanted to order the chicken tenders, and honestly I don't blame him, I love chicken tenders. All seemed to be going smoothly until his friend told Rondo that he left his gun in Jeff's car underneath Rondo's seat. Rondo called Jeff and told him all about it, and luckily the gun wasn't found by valet and they got it back the next day, so all was good with the label. He wanted to stay in Savannah, but his family and the people around him wanted him to leave because they saw the dangers in staying where you grow up and blowing up there.
He's trying to make it, but you got brothers that tell him won't let him make it. I don't want him to stay here. I want him to get with nobody knowing.
Rondo signed a deal with Atlantic Records and finally got out of Savannah and moved to Atlanta, where he started working in the studio every day. He said he was wearing designer, had money in his bank, and he couldn't just be hanging around doing the same things with the same people he'd always been doing things with. He needed to feel like he belonged.
I'm supposed to be in a bigger city around people who doing this, so I moved to Atlanta, where I fit in at. You gotta get in where you fit in.
I still feel like I wasn't coming up. I'm working hard, but this shit just didn't seem real until I met Lil Baby. Big Bro did a song with me, shot a video with me, that shit took me through the roof. And from there, it was over. On September 24, 2018, Quando dropped the mixtape Life After Fame to critical acclaim. What did Life After Fame bring him? Well, it got him a verification on his Instagram page. When I got my blue check on Instagram, I don't give a what nobody say. Every dude that get a blue check, that shit makes him happy. It makes me feel important. DM any girl you want, that girl gonna bite, you got a blue check. Honestly, I'm still waiting on my blue check from doing this show, but I'll give it till the end of next year, okay? What's next for Quando? Well, he told XXL, I want 10 platinum songs, I want 6 chains around my neck at one time, no cap. As for the rest of the story, well, you know the story because this is before they were famous. I'm Jeremy Hecht, and make sure to follow me on Instagram at Jeremy_Hecht, and let me know who I should cover next on this channel. Hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you don't miss a new video coming every day. Dream good, live better, and I hope you have one hecht of a day.